Hello, I am making a commentary on the movie End of Evangelion. I am choosing the pyramid sequence where we see a manifestation of Shinji, the main character, as a child within his subconscious after a catastrophic event known as human instrumentality has taken place that has emerged the entire human race into a collective consciousness to remove human suffering by replacing humanity's insecurities with the strengths of other people. Let's begin. Take note of the stage light showcasing the metaphor of Shinji being watched throughout the movie by his distant and loveless father. The swing swinging on the playground could symbolize the passage of time moving forward. This becomes important later on.
そうだ。チェロを始めた時と同じだ。
Shinji references the time he started playing the cello, the importance of that being he was never told to stop playing the cello since he began. Therefore, he kept playing the cello. Additionally, he talks about how if he came here, referring to NERV headquarters, where he has been kept to pilot a robot called Ava 1 to fight large monsters called angels, he would find what he was looking for. Bringing these two ideas together, we can conclude that Shinji came to NERV to find his purpose in life, to find meaning by doing what he was told to do. Shinji is unhappy without meaning or purpose, and he seeks it out by following orders by his dad or from other members of NERV.
ここに来たら何かあると思ってた。
シンジ君もやりなよ。頑張って完成させようよ、ヒロ。
Shinji begins to build the sandcastle after other children tell him that they should make one, showing happiness. This makes the swing start swinging faster. This shows the happiness that Shinji feels when given a task. It provides him with happiness in return because he now has a purpose. The other kids walk home with their mothers, leaving Shinji. This puts Shinji back in a place of loneliness as we see now that there is a chasm between him and the children and his mother, representing his fellow pilots and his mother figure in the movie Misato, to go on their paths and leave him alone once again. The chasm represents Shinji's mental barrier from following the relationships he has, leaving him stuck with his false purpose of building the sandcastle. Shinji, now sad, is left to finish building the sandcastle. The swing has slowed down as well as his mood, showing that while he thinks his purpose of building the sandcastle is what gave him happiness, in reality, it was the other people. However, he still goes on because he still hasn't made this realization yet and believes that continuing on with his purpose will continue to bring him happiness. A street lamp turns on, which indicates the movement of time through Shinji's story. Because the street lamp is turning on as it is turning from daytime to dusk, eventually into nighttime, we know that we are reaching the end of the story. Shinji now stands before his sandcastle, which represents NERV headquarters, but finds he is unhappy with his purpose he was tasked with. Instead of finding happiness of giving himself away to the sandcastle, he finds emptiness and sorrow. He then stomps down the castle in anger. The swing slows down as Shinji knocks down the sandcastle. This shows how time is slowing down as we get to the present point of the story, as well as the complete mental deterioration of Shinji. It is important to note that during the real events of Shinji's story, he is destined to be the child who destroys and perhaps reshapes the world for salvation. He wasn't told of this destiny, only that he needed to save the world from the angels. However, we are caught up in the story now as the world has been destroyed and is awaiting for Shinji's decision for salvation. Shinji looks down at the destroyed castle. He is still angry, but he is given no direction of what to do next. He has no more purpose. Shinji decides to bend down and begin rebuilding the castle, wiping tears from his face. This shows how he now has a choice between succumbing humanity to instrumentality or bringing humanity back to its flawed state. If he decides to allow instrumentality to continue, the collective consciousness built on fear of pain and flawed humanity will continue. However, by rebuilding the sandcastle, he allows not only himself to find meaning in his own by creating something new, but he does so by undoing instrumentality and allowing flawed humans to return to their normal states. This pushes the idea that meaning isn't given by other people, but it is found through personal relationships and personal choice, such as when Shinji begins to find and make his purpose by allowing the chance to form these relationships through ending instrumentality. A big idea in Dostoevsky's existentialist ideals is the idea that people are our salvation, and our purpose derives from suffering and redemption. We see Shinji throughout the movie and show constantly prevent himself from forming these relationships with other people because he believes that people cause him more pain than anything. Throughout his story, however, he does form relationships with these people. He believes that they cause him pain, however. The pain that he receives, instead from being from the relationships he has formed, is really from the purpose that he was given to him by his father and Nerve headquarters. Once instrumentality begins, we see in Shinji's psyche as he realizes that he wasn't the relationships that had caused him pain, but the fact he didn't pursue the relationships and instead focused on his false purpose. Shinji realizes after he destroys the castle that this purpose caused him pain, and the salvation or redemption for himself is to rebuild his purpose. Dostoevsky believes that other people are our salvation, and Shinji follows through with that idea as he brings an end to instrumentality and allows people the opportunity to recreate relationships with each other and to find happiness once again. Shinji's mindset has changed from a near nihilistic point of view where he believes his only purpose in life is to follow other people's doings, and has evolved to believe that his purpose is to pursue relationships, love, and other people. Shinji's suffering has brought forth the opportunity to find redemption through his new purpose in life. Thank you for watching this video, and thank you for listening to my commentary on the Neon Genesis Evangelion movies End of Evangelion sandbox sequence. Thank you.